It's time for Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero. When it comes to news on 95.1 FM, weather always comes first. A cold front continues to produce lake-effect snow downwind of Lake Ontario, and snow will spread across portions of the interior Northeast and New England. Strong gusty winds and dry air may produce elevated fire weather conditions across portions of the Mid-Atlantic and Southern Plains. Closer to home, a little warmer today, but with some breezy northwest winds on the backside of the upper trough. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies. Tomorrow, some upper ridging moving into the borderland. Winds could also become light with temperatures continuing to warm. We'll have another look at the weather following this news. The Alamogordo Recreation Center presents the Homeschool PE Playground Games. Registration is open now through April 1st, and the program will run from April 2nd through the 18th on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1:30 until 3. It'll be held at the Arc Gym, and the fee is $36 per student. The City of Alamogordo presents Easter in the Park. That's happening Saturday, March 30th from 10 until 1 at Washington Park. This event is free. The Cloudcroft Wildland Urban Interface Community Meeting is happening today from 6 until 7:30 at the Cloudcroft High School Commons Room. That's at 10 Swallow Place in Cloudcroft. The Lincoln National Forest will be hosting the community open house to provide information and answer questions regarding the hazardous fuels reduction project for Cloudcroft. Several speakers expected, including representatives from the New Mexico State Forestry Department, the Village of Cloudcroft, Otero County, and more. More information is available by contacting Caleb Finch, 575-682-5310. Easter is going to be big this year at the Alamo Senior Center. Brittany had the details, so I gave her a call.
We're having our Easter egg coloring on March the 26th in the dining room at 10 o'clock. On March 27th in the dining room, we're having our bonnet contest at 11 o'clock.
Tell me about the Easter bonnet contest. I mean, what are we looking for?
Oh, my gosh, these ladies have a lot of fun. They decorate their hats and their bonnets. We get all kinds of beautiful, beautiful hats that they make on their own. And it's a big turnout every year. We get at least 10 to 15 participants.
Well, awesome. Sounds like there's going to be a lot of fun.
We're going to have the Easter egg hunt on the 29th, again in the foyer of the center. And bring your own basket or bag.
So are there any prizes for the Easter egg coloring, the bonnet contest, and the Easter egg hunt?
There are. There are gift cards available to whoever wins.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Hey,
yeah.
One more thing. We're accepting candy donations to fill the Easter eggs for the Easter egg hunt.
The Alamo Senior Center is at 2201 Puerto Rico Avenue. Call 575-439-4150 for more information. The City of Alamogordo presents Easter in the Park. This free event is occurring on Saturday, March 30th from 10 until 1 at Washington Park. Kitty City will be at the mall this Saturday along with Animal Control.
Come to the White Sands Mall Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Kitty City and Alamogordo Animal Control will have both cats and dogs available for adoption.
Kathy Denton from Kitty City. The Kitty City, New Mexico Facebook page has details. The website has profiles of available cats. Well, today is Thursday. That means we get an inspirational moment from our good friend, Pastor Lauren Noble.
Good morning, 95.1 listeners. This is Pastor Lauren with our Thursday Thought. I've been thinking the past few days about how we hear people say the devil is sure tempting me. However, I'm not certain that he does. I think he only tempted Eve, who was in the image of God and was perfect and without sin, though she did sin. And he tempted Jesus, who was God in the flesh and without sin, and the sacrifice for sin. James 1:14-15 tells us, "But each person is tempted when they are lured and enticed by their own desires, and when desire is conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death." Spiritual death, that is, but sometimes physical, but usually spiritual. Let us not be so quick to give the devil too much credit and to blame him. When we followed our own desires and we nurtured those desires until they became a problem, we rolled them over and over and over in our brain, and I know sometimes I'm guilty of that too. Let me say a prayer for us. Lord, help us to realize that many times we are the problem and we need to own up to it and say, I did it. The problem was me. Rather than blaming others or blaming Satan or blaming circumstances, we need to own up to it and say, I was the problem, which is difficult to do, but oftentimes that is the case. We are our own problem. Amen. Until we meet up again on the airwaves, blessings to you.
News from around the state in just a moment. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
Local news from local perspectives from local voices. AlamogordoTownNews.com. Local sports, local events, and local happenings, and more. Owned and operated by Second Life Media. We are Otero County. AlamogordoTownNews.com. Heard daily on Crazy KALH Radio 95.1.
Directory Plus is the right size book. It's the book if you need a phone book.
That's what just one person has to say about Directory Plus. With its red cover, features, colorful yellow pages, and lots more, it's no wonder people all over use Directory Plus.
It has so much more information. You can cross-check phone numbers or addresses or pretty much anything.
Look on the plus side, Directory Plus.
I'm a big fan of Directory Plus.
Gadsden Independent School District officials placed Santa Teresa Middle School on safety protocols after they saw a group of illegal aliens walking into the school yesterday morning. All staff and students were directed to get inside and lock all outside doors. Officials at the school then worked with U.S. Border Patrol and Sunland Park Police to fix the situation. It was resolved before 10 a.m. School administrators alerted parents to the situation and the resolution. Sunland Park PD left 2 officers on campus for the remainder of the day. Officials have not yet stated what happened to the illegal migrants who entered the school. A controversial Texas law is the focus of an intense legal battle, and it could soon become one of the toughest immigration measures in the nation. Hours after the U.S. Supreme Court kept the policy in play, a federal appeals court blocked it. Although that law is on hold for now, some are putting out a warning to New Mexicans traveling to Texas. The ACLU's main concern is the possibility of racial profiling and discrimination against people of color who are in the country legally. The ACLU and Las Americas are suing the state of Texas, stating the law is blatantly unconstitutional. Leonardo Castaneda, a border and immigration policy advocate at the ACLU of New Mexico, spoke with KOB.
Immigration is not just historically a federal government issue, but constitutionally a federal government priority and issue area. Local police, not really trained in immigration at all, right? They don't go through the same type of academy that Border Patrol does or the Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers do.
While the law is not in effect at the moment, ACLU officials state they have heard concerns already from New Mexicans. They say Texas law enforcement officers have already become aggressive in questioning people's immigration status when they are going to Texas to visit family, go to the hospital, or even return to college. You know, I was in Texas not that long ago, just a few days ago, a matter of fact. Nobody bothered me. New Mexico's last winter storm left a lot of damage in the southwestern part of the state, and now hundreds of people are finally just now getting their lights back on after going several days without power. More than a foot of snow covered parts of Catron and Cibola counties last weekend, with the snow making roads hard to drive on. The storm took down over 30 power lines in the area, leaving over 300 people in rural New Mexico without power for 4 days. Socorro Electric Co-op worked overtime last weekend, trying to restore the power to the areas around Dadle, Quemado, and Fence Lake. Joseph Herrera is the general manager of Socorro Electric Co-op, and he spoke with KRQE.
13 poles, and then that's completely busted, separated, wire conductor tangled up, and then we had another 16 cross arms on different poles that were just busted and broken at the top of the pole.
The Socorro Electric Co-op states the storm damage led to this being the longest stretch of time where they've had so many customers without power. Federal officials gathered at the Farm and Ranch Heritage Museum in Las Cruces to meet with local officials and organizations as part of the Rural Partners Network. The goal of this federal initiative is to help people in rural communities find resources and funding being funneled from the federal government to organizations in rural parts of the U.S. Daisy Maldonado is the director of Empowerment Congress of Donna Ana County. She said meeting with officials was a good first step towards addressing the infrastructure needs in rural areas of New Mexico. She spoke with KRWG.
We're the organization that's on the ground, like doing the most engagement with, regular everyday folks. I think part of the intention of this gathering is also to think about how we can collaborate. So then locally within Doña Ana County, within the state of New Mexico, and then looking at federal funding, how can we bring those different funding sources, those agencies together to fund projects to actually serve those communities?
According to the state's recently launched federal funding dashboard, New Mexico has already been allocated over $6.5 billion from the federal government's American Rescue Plan Act and bipartisan infrastructure law, with hundreds of millions of dollars yet to be spent. Steve Benjamin, a senior advisor to President Joe Biden and the director of the Office of Public Engagement at the White House, said the purpose of the massive influx of funding is to give rural communities access to modern infrastructure, from broadband to clean drinking water.
This is a wonderful collection of local leaders who are doing the work every single day, partnering arm in arm with 20 agencies throughout the federal government, intensively focused on pushing billions of dollars into rural communities all across the country.
Benjamin said the Rural Partners Network is one way for the federal government to make sure that funds are getting to the communities that need it most.
The resources are there to provide the infrastructure that they not only need, but they deserve. We're finding some very creative solutions, taking these federal resources provided in the Biden-Harris administration, pairing it with state resources, using tax-exempt municipal bonds, and in some places even private sector capital and good, thoughtful public-private partnerships to make it happen. But these are things that the people of New Mexico deserve and should demand it from their officials that they work with.
Even though there's a lot of money allocated by the federal government, it can be difficult for individual organizations to receive that funding. That's according to Patricia Dominguez, who works for the USDA as the state of New Mexico's director for rural development. She explained that the Rural Partners Network allows for collaboration that makes it easier for small organizations to put incoming federal funds to use.
If there's a group who's really good at doing something, they can then show others, like, this is how we did it. You don't have to recreate the wheel, essentially. Just need to meet your neighbor potentially and see how they've done something and been successful at doing it. So federal government dollars do require that you apply for them. Folks have come to say that's a big deal for us. It's a barrier. So we're working on eliminating those barriers, and we do that with our partners, the state, municipal communities, and also organizations within those communities that will assist them. So we can't do this work alone. We need partners.
As for Daisy Maldonado, she says this is only the beginning of navigating obstacles for organizations in southern New Mexico that need federal assistance for infrastructure projects.
It's a good first step in terms of rural communities and smaller communities being able to have a voice at the table with federal agencies. And so and now let's hold those federal agencies accountable to say, you're wanting to serve us and you're wanting to bring those programs here. Now, what can be done to actually get and facilitate that process and happening?
Maldonado says she hopes that input from the community members will speed up funding for incoming projects so they adequately reach underrepresented areas of New Mexico who need it the most. Sports and weather are next. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in New Mexico is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, they just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the New Mexico Activities Association and the New Mexico Athletic Directors Association.
There are 30 games for New Mexico softball today, including Deming at Goddard, Hatch at Dexter, and Ruidoso comes to Tularosa. Wow! Go Lady Cats. There are 27 games for New Mexico baseball today, including Hot Springs at Mescalero, Robertson at Ruidoso, and Tularosa heads to Hatch. Wow! Go Wildcats. Your Crazy Radio spot on weather forecast for the Tularosa Basin today calls for mostly sunny skies, winds gusting as high as 22 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight, winds gusting as high as 23, sunshine and warmer tomorrow. Your high today in the Basin, 68, low tonight of 46, high tomorrow, 73 degrees. In Cloudcroft, mostly sunny skies, winds gusting as high as 31 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight, winds gusting as high as 33. Sunny tomorrow with winds gusting as high as 22. Your high today in Cloudcroft, 46. Low tonight of 33. High tomorrow, 52 degrees. Local breaking news can be found on our website, alamogordotownnews.com, and learn more about Crazy Radio by visiting kalhradio.org. Also, check out the Crazy KALH Radio YouTube channel. That's where we post our daily newscasts, complete interviews, and other information which concerns everyone in the Tularosa Basin. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel if you've not done so already. That way you too can remain informed of the goings-on in the Tularosa Basin. Well, that concludes today's edition of Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.